The Srimad Bhagavata is one of the main books of Hindu philosophy. The Bhagavata is a devotional account of the Supreme Being and his incarnations. Book 1 of the Srimad Bhagavata discusses the origin of the Bhagavata, and introduces the reader to the glories of Krishna as the Supreme Lord. This book consists of 19 chapters. The Bhagavata is authored by Veda Vyasa, and the source material for this summary is the translation presented by Swami Tapasyananda. Additional material and analysis is included. Chapter 1. Introduction and background of the Bhagavata. The Bhagavata is told by Sutta to Saunaka Muni and others at Naimisaranya. Purposes of reading the Bhagavata presented as questions. Purification by listening to the glories of Narayana. Enjoying reading about Narayan's avatars. Dharma during Kali Yuga is devotion. Chapter 2. The importance of Bhakti. Devotion, as it is the best path to the Supreme. Deconstruction of worldly reasoning and progress. Frenzied activity leads to confusion, while devotion leads to peace. Devotion leads to supreme peace and happiness. People worship based on their own thinking, desires, understanding. Worship of Krishna as the Supreme Being brings infinite benefits. Worshippers of Pitras, ancestors, and elemental powers get the finite rewards they seek, such as wealth and power. These rewards ultimately come from Krishna alone. Chapter 3. First Avatar. Incarnation of the Supreme Lord is the Purushavatara, as the form of the entire universe that is created and destroyed. 23 other main avatars, Sankha and the Kumaras, Cosmic Boar, Devarishi Narada, Rishasnara and Narayana, Kapila, Dattatreya, Yajna, Rishabha, Emperor Prithu, Divine Fish, Tortoise, Dhanvantari, Mohini, Nrisimha, Man-Lion, Vamana, Parasurama, Veda Vyasa, Ramachandra, Balarama and Krishna, Buddha, Kalki. There are an infinite number of avatars. Krishna is referred to as the complete avatar. The Supreme Being creates and destroys the universe, but is not affected by the process of creation and dissolution. Maharishi Veda Vyasa wrote the Bhagavata. Vyasa taught the Bhagavata to Shuka Rishi, Vyasa's son. Shuka Rishi taught the Bhagavata to King Parikshit, where the Sutta listened. This version is the Sutta's narration. Chapter 4. Illustration of the spiritual greatness of Shuka Rishi. Vyasa re-edited the Vedas for people to understand during Kali Yuga. Vyasa wrote the Mahabharata to teach people the lessons of the Vedas. The Mahabharata covers Dharma, Artha, Karma, and Moksha, but does not cover Bhakti, devotion. Even after composing the Mahabharata, with 125,000 verses, Vyasa still felt unsatisfied. Vyasa guessed that this was because the Mahabharata did not cover the devotional aspects of Krishna. Narada arrives at Vyasa's ashram. Chapter 5. Narada explains that Vyasa feels incomplete because of not writing about Bhakti, devotion, and the glories of the Supreme Lord and his incarnations. Narada describes the importance of Bhakti as the easiest and best path to the Supreme and the best way to escape from the pitfalls of samsara, worldly life. Story of Narada before reaching the status of Devarishi Narada highlights the importance of serving holy men in order to develop Bhakti. Narada describes that even though action, karma, is usually a cause of bondage, karma dedicated to God leads to Bhakti. Chapter 6. Continuation of Narada's story of his previous life. After Narada's mother suddenly died, Narada turned completely to spirituality, but was unable to see Vishnu in that form. Narada was reborn as Devarishi Narada in the current Kalpa cycle of creation. Devarishi Narada travels the universe singing Narayana's praises. Chapter 7. Vyasa enters into samadhi and realized that bhakti is the easiest way to eliminate the sufferings of avidya, ignorance of the spiritual truth, and achieve spiritual bliss. Vyasa wrote the Bhagavata Purana. Even though Sukha Rishi was already fully absorbed in the abstract self, Devarishi Vyasa taught the Bhagavata to his son, Sukha Rishi. At the end of the Mahabharata war, Ashwatthama, one of Duryodhana's allies, tried to destroy the victorious Pandavas. However, Ashwatthama accidentally killed the upper Pandavas, the 5 children the Pandavas had by Draupadi. Arjuna captures Ashwatthama, but is reluctant to kill him, as Ashwatthama is the son of Drona, the teacher of the Pandavas, and Draupadi does not Drona's wife, Kripi, to suffer in the way that she is suffering. Krishna instructions to Arjuna to punish Ashwatthama without killing him. Chapter 8. While Parikshit was still in Uttara's womb, Ashwatthama tried to destroy him, so as to destroy the Pandavas' lineage. Uttara prays to Krishna to protect her fetus. Krishna saves the Pandavas' lineage and Uttara's fetus. Parikshit. Kunti praises Krishna both for his actions on earth and as the Supreme Person. Kunti asks Krishna to make her mind detached from material objects and become continuously absorbed in Krishna. Krishna is about to leave for Dwarka, but Yudhishthira stops him, as he blames himself for the destruction caused by the war. Chapter 9. Krishna and the Pandavas go to Bhishma, where he is lying on the bed of arrows after the end of the Mahabharata war, so that Yudhishthira can learn about the duties of a king. Bhishma praises Krishna, as time, the Supreme Being, controls all. Krishna is only seen as the Supreme by those who Krishna allows. Bhishma asks for complete devotion to Krishna. Bhishma thinks of Krishna's form and actions as he sees them during the war. Bhishma leaves his body while looking at and thinking of Krishna. Chapter 10. Krishna leaves for Dwarka, and all the inhabitants of Hastinapura are greatly saddened that Krishna is leaving them. Krishna is praised by the women of Hastinapura as he is leaving. Krishna is the Supreme. Krishna creates, upholds, and dissolves the universe as a game, but is unaffected by it. Krishna incarnates to destroy evil. Dwarka has even surpassed heaven, as Krishna is living there. How lucky Krishna's wives are. Chapter 11. Krishna arrives in Dwarka. Dwarka is instantly enlivened when Krishna returned, as everyone there lives for Krishna. Glories, beauties, and decorations of Dwarka. All the citizens of Dwarka instantly left whatever they doing and ran to meet Krishna when they heard the sound of his conch. Depth of love of Krishna's wives for Krishna. Krishna welcomes each individual in the correct way, according to her position, age, and status. Chapter 12. Continuation of the incident in Chapter 8. How Krishna saves Parikshit. Krishna enters Uttara's womb in his supreme four-armed form scaled down to the size of a thumb, and dissipates the power of the Brahma missile released by Ashwatthama. Parikshit, as a 10-month-old fetus, sees Krishna. Parikshit is born due to Krishna's grace and protection. To celebrate, Yudhishthira gave numerous valuable gifts to Brahmanas. Brahmanas predict what Parikshit will do, both his glories in life and his death. Parikshit is called Parikshit as he is always trying to verify that the Krishna who saved him is same as Krishna, the Supreme Being. Chapter 13. Vijaya learns about the Atman from Maitreya as he had gone on a pilgrimage to avoid the Mahabharata war. Vijaya returns to Hastinapura. The Pandavas rule justly for 36 years and the citizens are content. Vijaya tells Dhritarashtra that time, death, is approaching. One should not have attachment to the body and sense objects. The wise man renounces after all his work is completed. Vijaya, Dhritarashtra, and Gandhari leave for the forest silently. without letting anyone know. Yudhishthira is depressed at the departure of Vijaya, Dhritarashtra, and Gandhari. Narada arrives and instructs Yudhishthira. The world is controlled by the Supreme. Time, death, cannot be stopped. People must follow the path created for them. Importance of renunciation after one's work is done. Do not call back one who has renounced the world. Chapter 14. Yudhishthira sees bad omens and worries that the time for Krishna to end his incarnation has come. Arjuna returns from Dwarka in a greatly distressed and confused state. Yudhishthira asks Arjuna numerous questions about the reasons for his dejection and of the well-being of people in Dwarka. Chapter 15. Arjuna is dejected and weak because of Krishna ending his incarnation, and thus not being there with Arjuna, and is lamenting because of his complete love of and dependence on Krishna. Arjuna's report to Yudhishthira. Without Krishna, Arjuna could not even defeat a small band of herdsmen. This life is meaningless without Krishna. Arjuna lists all his achievements, such as Draupadi's Swayamvara and the Mahabharata war, and how they were due to the actions and grace of Krishna alone. Arjuna remembers his life with Krishna, all that Krishna did for him. With Krishna, Arjuna could defeat everybody and have complete victory. Without Krishna, Arjuna has lost all his skills. Krishna has caused the Yadavas to destroy themselves in order to lighten the burden of the earth. Krishna is the cause of all power, achievement, and success. Through intense devotion, Arjuna remembered the teachings of the Gita, and viewed himself as the Atman. The Pandavas renounce the kingdom after finding out that Krishna has left and dissolved the sense of attachment with the body and the world. Parikshit is made king. The Pandavas soon become absorbed into Narayana. The day Krishna left his earthly form is the start of Kali Yuga, the age of sin and degradation. Anyone who listens to and believes this account with faith will have devotion to Krishna and be freed from the cycle of samsara, birth and death. Chapter 16. Parikshit's life and glories, all of which are due to Krishna. Parikshit greatly enjoyed listening to the glories of Krishna, especially the story of how Krishna saved him. Parikshit gave numerous gifts to those who sang Krishna's praises and stories. There is no point in excess chatter about things. Time is much better spent discussing the glories of Krishna. Earth, in the form of a cow, and Dharma, in the form of a bull, discuss the coming of Kali, and the problems that this will bring. Now that Krishna has left, destruction of the family and social order. People will be completely attached to material life without thoughts of spirituality. Earth praises Krishna as having all good qualities, including those required for both spiritual progress and earthly power. Krishna is truth, kindness, generosity, infinite happiness, physical and mental strength, knowledge, courage, lordship, intellectual power, beauty of form, faith, and lovability. Without Krishna, who has all good qualities and has purified the earth, the degradation into Kali Yuga will be unrestrained. Chapter 17. Parikshit sees Dharma and earth being tortured by Kali Yuga. Personified. In Kali Yuga, the one with a stick and a loud voice, rather than knowledge and good qualities, will prevail. Parikshit and Dharma converse about the coming of Kali Yuga. Different groups have different views about what causes the enjoyments and sufferings one is undergoing. Some say that people decide their own futures. Others say that the planets do this. Others say that it is karma. Others say that it is nature. The few who understand know that everything is under the control of the Supreme Being. Thinking about something causes the same experience as doing it. Parikshit captures Kali and banishes him from the kingdom. Kali can only live in 5 evil places. Places where people gamble excessively. Places where people drink alcohol in an unrestrained manner. Places of slaughter. places of excess, unrestrained sensual enjoyment, money, especially money that is unfairly obtained. Chapter 18. Parikshit did not kill Kali as there are some great qualities of Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga people get rewarded for good instantly, but sins are not punished until later. Only incorrect actions are punishable. Incorrect thoughts are not. Kali attacks those of weak resolve whom he can sway, but does not affect those who are genuinely good and have a strong resolve to stay on the correct path. The bliss of Krishna's glories is far above that of worldly enjoyments and also heaven. The Ganga is the water that Brahma poured on Vishnu's feet, and has the power to purify the world because of Vishnu's powers. Parikshit goes to the forest and feels thirsty. He enters a sage's ashram and asks for water. However, the sage does not notice as he is in deep meditation. Samadhi. In anger, Parikshit places a dead snake on the sage to test if he is actually in samadhi, deep meditation, or someone pretending. Parikshit is cursed by the sage's son for insulting his father. Parikshit will be bitten by Takshaka, a very poisonous snake, within 7 days. The sage reprimands his son for cursing Parikshit, stating the importance of the king for the protection of the country. The sage did not feel even slightly antagonized towards Parikshit for placing the dead snake, as holy men are above happiness and sadness, praise and insult. Chapter 19. Parikshit is deeply repentant for this mistake. Parikshit does not mind if the curse destroys everything of his, but wants his sin to be erased and his mind never to turn against holy men again. Parikshit sees the curse as a good thing, as it will force him renounce. Parikshit leaves the kingdom to his son and goes to the banks of the river Ganga. A large number of great sages assemble and Parikshit praises them. The sages bless Parikshit. Parikshit asks the sages what he, one who knows that he is about to die in 7 days, should do. Sri Sukha, the son of Vyasa, arrives. Sukha Rishi is an avaduta, one who travels with no attachment to the body, fully absorbed in the Atman. Sukha Rishi's body is very handsome and in perfect condition even though he does not care for it. Parikshit is very happy that Sukha Rishi, a very great sage, has come. Parikshit asks Sukha Rishi what he, one who knows that he is about to die, should do. For the continuation of the Bhagavata, see Srimad Bhagavata Book 2.